recording. Hello, it's Matt and James again here. We're here today just to talk to you about virtual viewings. It's been something which you've probably heard quite a lot about in recent weeks, as it's become more prevalent in the estate and letting agency industry. Before we locked down, it was something which a lot of agencies started to experiment with. But since then, it's become part of our way of marketing properties. It's become a vital tool to enable us to show your property to somebody without them actually having to go and view it. Since the government relaxed the lockdown on our industry, it's been something which we've relied upon to get that first level of interest quantified in property. So it's becoming a vital tool for people in marketing now. And that's what we want to talk to you about today, just to give you a few tips on making recordings and just to talk to you a little bit about how it works now with applicants. So, Matt, do you want to kick us off and tell us a bit about them?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the two immediate differences on virtual viewings and videos of properties is you might imagine that a virtual tour is where a member of staff goes to the property and maybe contacts the tenant live, either via Zoom or WhatsApp, FaceTime, one of those things, which is something which we do offer. Sometimes, though, it's not always possible to access a property if a tenant is adverse to strangers coming into his home. This is where we're finding probably the bulk of the problems in letting property. The ones that are tenanted are obviously a bit more tricky. And in that case, a video tour would become necessary, which is obviously slightly different. It's pre-recorded and it's sent out to the tenants either via email or it's linked to our Rightmove account, which I would say most of our properties now have, with the exception of maybe HMOs, which are a little trickier to get into. So yeah, two different types really, a virtual tour and a video tour, but both are equally, I think, as important. And yeah, we've been trying to make sure we've got one for every property that we have.
Yeah, the virtual tours. There's various differing levels of professionality that you can go for with these. There's professional companies that will produce videos that will produce these virtual tours for you. Some of them are really smart and slick. Obviously, that comes at a price. We're offering to do them for clients at vacant properties. So if a property is vacant, we can go and do a recording for you. But something which has become more and more common is that people have done them themselves, be that vendors themselves that want us to market their property, or if as Matt says, there's somebody in there, then we tend to get some help from the tenants. But actually, it's quite a simple thing to actually do. It's not actually something that needs to be worried about as such. If you've got a smartphone, which most people do these days, it's really easy to do a virtual viewing or recording of the property. If you're recording a property, we ask people that they do it in landscape mode. Now, the reason for that is that your eyes look from left to right rather than up and down. So it's a lot easier for people to view those. And also, it fits the profile of the portals much better as well. The videos don't need to be long. They can be around a minute or so, but it's something that is becoming a really important way of showing people your property. So you want to make sure that you've got your tour down. You want to make sure you show off your best features, whether it's the garden, whether it's the bathroom, whatever it is. You want to make sure you do that, but on kind of a walkthrough of your property. So that's sort of those type of things. Matt, other things that we can offer with them?
Yeah, as you say, we've got different levels that you can probably go for. Obviously, the most obvious one is tenant yourself or the agent with a phone. We also have a DSLR, which we would use. We then have the next grade up, which would be our photographer, who we hire generally to go out to, probably higher value listings or properties that just photo very, very well. Obviously, if you've got a messy tenanted property, you're not going to spend on a professional photographer. But if you've got a staged flat, it's empty, it's clean, it's good. The next level up would be to hire our professional photographer who would go in, and it's just little things like he has image stabilization. He's got gimbals, which he can go around. So it's a smoother flow around the property. He also would put some overlay music and put in some nice edits and things. We had one back yesterday, which I showed you this morning, James, which, it just steps up the quality, which, puts you at the forefront of Rightmove and other portals where your property's been shown off, at the absolute best. And then there's probably a level even above that where you would hire in a company which has these 360-degree photography machines, and they basically shoot every single room, and you can go on a live tour around the house and spin around and see everything. Those were previously on very high listings, £1 million sale properties, but I think the price is coming down slowly, and I think you'll start to find those will become more common in rentals as well.
It's becoming
Very cool bit of kit.
becoming part of the new normal, as we've been speaking about so much, Matt, hasn't it? I mean, this is now the first way that we indicate whether somebody's interested in going for a viewing of the property. In many ways, it's a good thing, and so these videos are becoming vitally important.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's an elimination tool as much as it is a letting tool. Luckily we've been very, very busy since the lockdown has been lifted. The leads are coming through thick and fast. They're not always, sadly, ones that are suitable for each property, but we do preempt to watch the video of the property first, because what it may do is just eliminate that person from going and taking the time, Lauren's time, our time, to go out and do the viewing, when they may not have taken the property anyway, which means you can just move on to the next applicant, and maybe that one is the one which would have taken the property, and you've saved yourself 2-3 hours of registering, viewing, follow up. So I think video viewings will stay well beyond this, and we'll be using it as almost a pre-qualification tool. Have you seen the video? It's worth seeing it. There might be something in there, which you may not like, that you might not be able to tell us at this stage. But we can either then rule that property in or out, and then either show them something else, or just move on to the next applicant who may be more suited to it.
A couple of other top tips then. So stuff that we have learned as we've been doing this is that just to make sure that the natural light is there, or just be wary of lights that are on in a property when you've got windows and things, because phones and cameras pick up quite a lot of that, and it can distort the images that you get. So you've got to make sure.
Try not to kind of shoot towards a bright window, because the room will look really dark. So you might walk towards the window, spin around with the light behind you, so then the camera will naturally adjust to the room and it will look a lot brighter. I went to a property yesterday that was exactly that, very, very bright. Had to really go towards the window, back to the window, look back at the room, and then the room looked great. If you shoot towards a bright window, the room's going to look really dark.
And also try and move into the corners of the rooms to show the room off. If you just walk through the door, then you're just going to see a one view of the room. Even if you pan around, just walk to the corner and then show the room off, so that you can see what the living space is, or what the bedroom's like, or what have you. So it's not difficult. It's something which just a few little tips and tricks will help really show your property off. Commentary is another one. That's not something that's necessary for you to do if you're just sending it to us for marketing purposes. We can either add it on if we think it's going to be necessary, or it's something which can be done as part of the professional videos later on. But it's not an essential, so it's not something you need to worry about if it's not something you don't want to do. But the videos have become very, very important, and are now really going to be part of that first step going forward. And I think they're here to stay, and I think it's a good thing, actually. I really do. And we look forward to doing more videos of properties and uploading them onto the portals and showing them off.
Yep, absolutely.
Great. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we will be in touch very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.